Each modal has its own set of meanings and uses. For example, can. It expresses ability. For example, she can speak 5 languages. So that's the primary ability. Somebody is able to do something. Second is possibility. To talk about things which we think are usually true, but not always. It indicates that something is possible. For example, heavy rains can cause flooding in many parts of the city. Lightning can frighten babies, young children. Like bright flashes and loud thunderclaps, they can be startling. Children, they don't know what's going on, and they might even develop what is often called astrophobia, fear of thunderstorms. Another use of can is permission, to ask for or give permission. For example, you can park your car here. You can leave your luggage here, no problem. You're allowed to do it. You can go home after you finish your work. Another use is request. For example, can you help me with this? I want to finish this task. Can you help me with this? So that's a request. You can also use it for offers. For example, can I get you a cup of coffee? So you're offering your service. Another use is prohibition, usually in negative form, can't or cannot. It indicates that you are not allowed to do it. For example, this is a no parking zone. You can't park your car here. So you can't. It's prohibited. Another use is a suggestion. For example, after dinner we are all free. We can go for a walk. That's a suggestion. So you can see each modal has a set of uses, a variety of functions. So you cannot translate a modal verb in your mother tongue with just one word. It might be misleading. Now let's take should. Should indicates advisability. It is good if you do like this. For example, your diabetes is too high, so you should cut down on your sugar intake. It is good for you. Another modal that can be used in place of should is ought to. It is similar to should. Now, you can also use should to make a guess. For example, if you know Hindi, for example, and if you want to learn Gujarati, then I think it should be easy for you because both these languages are very near each other. If you know Hindi, you can learn Marathi, Gujarati very easily. It should be easy for you. So it is a guess. For example, if there is a task and somebody asks you, how long will it take? It shouldn't take a lot of time. So that's your guess. Another commonly used modal verb is may. Now, usually it indicates possibility, something that could happen. For example, it may rain this evening. There is a possibility. You can also use it for permission. For example, when you enter your boss's cabin, you say, may I come in, sir? So that's a formal way of asking for permission. And you may leave now. That's an official formal permission. You can also use may for polite requests. For example, may I ask you a question? This is better than asking, can I ask you a question? Can is friendly, informal. You can also use may for blessings. May you live long, may you be happy, may you have a wonderful time ahead. You can also indicate uncertainty or doubt using may not, right? He may not be at home at this time. It's not certain. You can also use may for a past situation, possibility in the past. For example, He may have forgotten. Yesterday he didn't attend the party. He may have forgotten. Right? He may have forgotten about the meeting. So may is not just for the present or future. It can be used for the past time as well with have plus past participle, which is called the perfect infinitive. Another modal auxiliary is might. Might is less sure than even may. May means 50% possibility. For example, he may come, that means he may or he may not come. But when you say might, then the chances are very less. He might attend the program. So chances are very less. Another important modal is must. Now basically if you think that must is a stronger form of should, then it is good. For example, you must work hard. It is a strong piece of advice. And the speaker also wants you to do that. For example, if I say you must learn English, that means I also feel very strongly that it is good for you if you study English. So must is a strong form of advice. Another use is prediction. Again, here it is a strong prediction. Don't call him now. He must be busy because this is his time for work. So he must be busy. So it's a strong form of advice as well as prediction. The same can be used for the past time as well with perfect infinitive. He didn't attend the meeting yesterday. He must have forgotten. Means I very strongly feel that this is the case. This is my strong prediction, but about the past time. Another modal is, or modal like verb is have to. Now don't confuse between must and have to. Must is a strong form of advice, speaker's intention, whereas have to indicates external compulsion. Sometimes you have to do certain things whether you like it or not. For example, if you are ill, you have to take medicine. If your office time is 10 to 5, you have to reach your office before 10 o'clock. So have to is compulsion because of external circumstances, sometimes rules. And have to can be used for all the three times, past, present and future. For example, yesterday my vehicle broke down on the way, so I had to walk home. Then usually I have to reach my office before 9 o'clock. And future time, tomorrow you will have to finish that work by the end of the day. You will have to do it. Compulsion, no choice. So have to, then could. Could is another useful modal auxiliary, could. Could can be used for a very polite request. Could you please wait for some time? Could I ask you a question? This is much better than can or will. Could. That's why when you make a phone call and you don't know who the recipient is, then you say, could I speak to Mr. Joshi please? So that's a very polite form. Could is also a very tentative suggestion. For example, if somebody comes to you and says, I want to, what should I do? I have finished my studies. Then you can make a variety of suggestions. You could start your own business. You could meet a career counselor. You could join your family business. So could indicates a tentative suggestion. It is more tentative than can. Then could can be used for a general ability in the past. For example, when I was a child, I could run fast. That was my general ability. You cannot use the same could for something that you were able to do yesterday. For example, yesterday I was able to write 5 reports. So that's a specific event in the past. For that you don't use could. There you say was able to, or you may use I succeeded in doing some work yesterday, or you can say I managed to do this work yesterday. So was able to, was or were able to, succeeded in doing something, or managed to do something. These are possible in place of could. Another useful modal is would. Would is used for offers. For example, when you have a guest, you ask, what would you like to have, tea or coffee? And you can also show your preference using the same would. I'd like tea. That means if possible. You never say, I want tea. Want is a very strong form of communication. I want this by hook or by crook. So we don't say like that usually. So what do we say? I'd like tea. That means if possible. So it's a polite way to indicate your preference. Would is also used for imaginary conditions, situations. For example, what would you do if you saw a ghost at midnight? So imaginary. What would you do if you won a lottery? Imaginary situation. So this is present time only, but imaginary situation. Would is also very common for request. Would you please wait for some time? You can also talk about your past general habit using would, or something that you used to do very often. When I was in Delhi, I would go for a walk every evening. So that was my usual habit. It is similar to used to in that sense. Then let's take needn't, something that is not necessary. You needn't wait here. We will send it to you by post. So it is not necessary for you to wait here. So needn't means don't or doesn't need to. Another modal is mustn't. Now mustn't is a strong form of no. It indicates prohibition. You mustn't do this. For example, there is a live wire. There are many live wires hanging, so you mustn't touch anything there. You mustn't enter that room. There is a danger. So there are two kinds of possibilities. One, physical danger. And second is penalty. For example, if there is a special botanical garden and if there are some special trees and plants, so there may be a notice, you mustn't touch any plant. So it is not allowed. If you are caught, you may be penalized for that. Another common modal like verb is used to. It is used to indicate past habit or a past situation. I used to play a lot when I was a child. I used to read a lot. Because nowadays I don't find time to read, but I used to read a lot. Then we have shall. Shall is used for, say, when you offer your service. Suppose you see somebody, an old person carrying a heavy bag. Shall I carry your bag? So you're offering your service. Shall is also used for a suggestion. Shall we go ahead? Shall we go to a movie? So that's a suggestion. Normal future is okay, but in normal future we generally prefer the contracted form. I'll, will, you will, she'll, they'll. So shall or will, that is not the question. In old grammar, people used to say with I and we take shall, and with others we take will. But nowadays only the contracted form is used, or will is used everywhere for future. Ought to indicates ought to. Ought to indicates your duty. For example, you ought to pay your taxes. You ought to look after your old parents. So that is ought to. So I hope these modal verbs or modal like verbs will help you. And thank you very much. I am Dharmendra Sheth, founder Fluentlingua, Surat.